What's going on, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning in. You see the title, Quality Over Quantity. So I'm pretty sure you can guess exactly what we're talking about today. So grab yourself a little drink, share this with a friend, sit down, and let's talk. Yes, thank you for being here. I am Jamie Alexander, and per usual, I'm not having this conversation by myself. So let me bring in Yatu Marvel, dating and relationship consultant, to the stage.
Happy Win With Me Wednesday. Hey, Jamie.
Yes, happy Wednesday. How's it going?
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion.
Yes, me too. Now, today was so wonky. Today and yesterday were so wonky for me. It was one of those days where I was like, I'm going to the jacuzzi because I'm not fighting with the universe today. I'm gonna just let it. It's like my phone was acting funky, my computer was going slow. I was trying to print something I was just like, okay, it's a no. I'm gonna just go sit down.
Okay. Mine was very smooth. I made one good decision and it made everything else go right.
See, I need some of that. I need some of that in my life today. Well, great. Glad you had a great day. Quality over quantity. I hear this a lot. I loved this video. Y'all know how we do. I'm going to play it and then we shall discuss. You ready? Let's do it.
I've actually heard that from a few people. You by yourself because you want to be by yourself. If you wanted to be with somebody, you could. There's a whole lot of single ladies out here. And that may be true that there's a high volume of single ladies available for interaction. But I have discovered that the problem is not necessarily the quantity of candidates as much as it is the quality of character. This generation places a great emphasis on aesthetic presentation and not character development. When I was growing up, everybody didn't know how to put it together. But now with social media, BBLs, TikTok tutorials on makeup, hair, fashion, everybody knows how to put it together. So people now have glamorous shells with hideous souls. All I see you do on your social media page is stare at the camera. You just staring, you puckering, you just walking up and down the hallway is slow. Let me see you walk. No, let me hear you talk. Let me see what your level of intellect is, your level of spirituality. Can you help me with my purpose and my destiny? Of course, I want to be attracted to you, but that's only going to last for so long. So I would much rather wait than to just be out here wasting my time with somebody because they fine.
A whole word. Where's the lie?
Okay, shout out to Black Marriage Movement that was denied there, who I took this clip from and reposted for us. So
awesome.
I mean, what did you think about the clip? I have my thoughts, but how did you feel?
Like deja vu. So I get that all the time too. If you're not married because you don't really want to be married, just pick one. All those women that like you, just any, meeny, miny, mo, like that is gonna work for me. And so I always try to engage the people who say it, because I've had men and women say that to me. But I try to engage them in conversation and kind of get an understanding of, how they think this works as opposed to how I think it works, because I definitely don't think that it works that way. I respect women's and men's right to do whatever it is that makes them happy. Some people being clothed and showing how intellectual they are makes them feel good and makes them feel free. Some people, it makes them feel good and to feel free if the camera's facing, that they have their back to the camera, or if they're walking, or if they're putting on makeup, or if they're just turning the camera in the face. And everybody has the right to feel empowered by whatever they want. But as far as choosing somebody to do life with, for the rest of your life with, that's all ego stuff. None of it can contribute to a healthy, sustainable relationship dynamic. I'm not saying it'll kill it, but it definitely won't make it's definitely not what makes your relationship healthy and sustainable.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. First of all, he cracked me up with that, well, all those women out here, you want that voice, because that's what it sounds like. It's like, okay, that's what y'all sound like. But it was very succinct what he said. There was so much in there, even though it was a small clip. I love it because I get the same thing, like, you're beautiful, you're articulate, this, that, or the other, you modeled, you've been on TV, all of this stuff. So for some reason, people think that equates to I should have this type of relationship or whatever. And even though sometimes that makes sense to me, sometimes when I look like in relation to what he says, when you think about, because this is what I had to reconcile in my brain, especially as a woman, because we are so judged on our looks. Men are too, but I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective. Like, it's really easy to get very discouraged if you allow it, or overly self-aware when you see it's the half naked girls. It's the girls, let me see you walk. That girl got 65,000 views.
She did.
I could be really giving it, really telling it, really, sharing certain things that are actually important, but it'll be like 67 views. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got tens and thousands of people focused on this. And then when you are of stature and character, not to say that some women who are of stature and character don't have the views, but it's like, even for me, my selfies, I'd be like, y'all really like it that much? Like, it's a selfie. Like, I'm not thinking of it. But if I put out something that I believe is important or of context and, there's really meat on that thing, it really doesn't get as much attention. So I think when I hear stuff like this, I understand why women are just like, in the camera, blah, blah, blah. I've done a little bit of that myself too. But it's what we're eating these days, and it's what is getting the man's attention. So it's almost sending the signal to women that this is what you need to do to get the attention, especially when people are selling dating as a numbers game. Whether you believe it or not, it's kind of, I feel like, what a certain percentage of the culture is seeing. They're like, oh, well, if I can get this many eyes, it's all about eyes and impressions and likes. And that's the stuff that is winning.
So I definitely want to talk about that. You make a valid point. I think the thing that we sometimes leave out is that the algorithm has more control over it than the audience. And so we see what the algorithm is choosing for us. I have maybe 5 or 10 people favorited on Facebook. They still don't come down my, everybody else is regular follow or not followed at all, right? And the people I'm favorite, I still have to click on search, go to their page to see what's going on. Why is there even a favorite option if it's not gonna, every time they put something up, it's one of the first things on my news feed. So that tells me right there that, because people say, well, it's showing you whatever you click on. So if it's showing me, if in my news feed is full of women with BBLs, it's because I'm clicking on BBLs. That's just not true. It's just not true. So, and not to say that I don't, I'm a visual person, but
heck, I like to see some of these women. I'd be like, girl, did you see her body, that waist? I need to get in the gym. Like, we all look in one way or another. It's not a bad thing. I don't want to make it negative because it's not that. Yeah.
But everybody is different, and it probably doesn't float my boat as much as probably the average guy. I'm the few times I've gone to bachelor parties or whatever the case may be at strip clubs, like I end up having long, stimulating conversations with the dancers as opposed to stuffing money in their underwear. I end up hearing their life story. I know the age that they became a stripper. I know what happened. I end up finding out everything else, but stuffing dollars into their underwear. Not because some of the strippers aren't really, really attractive, but me imagining myself stuffing dollars in the woman's underwear and getting myself riled up sexually to want to have sex with her, and then I can't. All I can do is put more dollars in her underwear. None of that, I'm never going to be the guy who says, you know what I think we should do, fellas?
Right.
We should go to strip. I'm never going to be that guy. And so the times that I have been, I've been dragged along. And so, I wonder, a lot of times I wonder if it is that men and women are clicking on these things more, or if the algorithms have decided that bombarding us with this type of content will, attract or affect the advertising dollars in the way that they want it to.
Well, it's very interesting because I've actually done research on the algorithm and what's showing up and why, what, and whatever. And to my understanding from the knowledge that I have is it, and combined with what I see, it's like it pretty much mirrors collective consciousness, if you will. So the algorithm is based on where people's eyes are staying the longest. So it's coming up first because everybody's feasting on that. So
it's funny you said that, because I'm kind of just now getting into paying a lot of more attention to dashboards and things of that nature. And some of those videos of the women walking and shaking their butt, they have 100,000 views, but it's an average of 2 seconds of how long somebody's watching it. So that lets me know that really somebody just scrolled past it. But if the average is 2 seconds, that means a lot of people are doing it less than 2 seconds, and a few people are doing it more. And so, only the engineers, the psychology / IT engineer majors from Stanford know what's really going on. I tell people all the time they need to watch the Netflix documentary on social media, because they are like, what can we do so they will like show you 5 things to get you to click on this other thing. Like, it'll be relief from those other 5 things. And so there's a lot of trickery that goes into the algorithm. So I'm not saying it's all that, but definitely that is influencing things tremendously.
I don't like it. I was like, it makes me want to stay off my phone more, because
I don't like it either, because it's not like, somebody could, be making some content and they really know what they're talking about, and somebody else knows nothing about that, but they know how to manipulate the algorithm better. And so they're the person that people will think is the expert, or the person who's successful in that arena, when it's quite the opposite. And so it's an interesting phenomenon we have going on. But I'd like to challenge myself to create good content that is also marketable and has good branding too, to run my numbers up without having to compromise myself. And I think
having to shake your
when you look at that, it can be a fun challenge, right? Because sometimes maybe we're being a little lazy. We think because the character of the content is good, that's all we should have to do. And that's just not reality. That's ideally, that would be great, right? Whoever has the best message, the most people see it. God bless. That would be wonderful if it was set up that way. But now, we just have to have a great message and think about how we frame that message. Do we frame it as a question? Do we, do a voiceover first? Do we do about that? Sorry about that.
It's okay.
More to get the message out. We have to do a little more with the marketing to get the message out.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, because I was thinking about that today, especially because I didn't have it today. I'm in a t-shirt. Okay. I put on a lippy and we're ready to rock. But I'm like, man,
I love it.
Like, we got nothing else going on. I was just like, couldn't, but I was thinking like, man, what could I do to also keep that in mind? Because sometimes I can be not necessarily like I'm trying to be lazy, but again, because I feel like, yes, I can sometimes float off my personality or enough presence to, but it was like, what if I went all out? You know what I mean? And added that, because it is a thing these days to have the aesthetics, or like you said, ask the question, draw the people in, or whatever the marketing strategy is going to be, and take that into consideration over just having a good message. So I think that is good and a great point to make. There was something else you said I was thinking about, but
it'll come back to you.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. But Homeboy did have a point with the quality over quantity, because I do think in this day and age, because social media is so prevalent and everything, just like we're talking about, marketing and the algorithm and all these things, at the end of the day, that only translates to dating and love life so much. Like, he's right. Like, yeah, you can walk, but can you talk? If you're a model and the majority of your content is like you walking and posing and you're giving, and that's what it is, like, cool, we're not on a dating site, so that's one thing, but I could also see why it doesn't equal the same. Me saying, oh, there's all these women, why aren't you dating? It's like, but you're just seeing a bunch of women on social media. That does not equate to somebody I can sit down and have a conversation with, one, and then going further than that, actually enjoying it and there being chemistry. And then after that, actually being compatibility. So there is just so much more to it than the massive amounts of like content. And I think we need to remember not to get so sucked into that and differentiate between real life and social media, which at the end of the day is entertainment. You know, we would never watch a movie and be like, why don't you ain't never hollered at her. It's like, sweetie, that ain't her name. That's not her wardrobe. That's not a real person. That's not, you know what I mean? We would never have done that back in the day. So,
well, I think that social media has transitioned out of entertainment. There was a time where that's what we say, it's just entertainment. No, not anymore. People are making a living. Some people are living really well off of it. And now there is a gold rush of regular people who are looking to capitalize on that in some type of way. And so I suspect, I see, I have a big news feed, lots of stuff coming through. And again, not jumping on people's comments, not judging people, not going in on anybody. But I have thought to myself many a day, like, man, like, I wonder what these women are promoting. Like, what is the goal? Like, do I just want to show off that I look good? Do I want, is my husband going to inbox me and say something? Am I just trying to go viral? Right? This just, will this just possibly monetize my social media platform? And outside of people wanting to monetize their social media platform, I think a lot of times people are doing things and they're not really sure why, that they're just following. Sometimes you see something and in a glimpse, it looks good. So you repost it. You know what I mean? Or you go duplicate it, right? Because there's not a lot of original content on social media. People are doing the same voiceovers, using the same, walk, using the same songs, behind the same content, behind the same context. So it's not, this huge things of originality. I think people are just like seeing other people doing it and they getting a lot of likes doing it. And then a lot of people are single. And so everybody, we want to be attractive. We want compliments. We want validate. We put on that outfit. We look good. We like, hey, we're not going to just let this go to waste, right? We're going to let
nobody see me today.
Some people see it. And I think, conversation for another day, but I have wondered if that gives us a misconception about how desirable we are and, where we are in the dating space and in the relationship space, because everybody will say, oh, you look so beautiful, and oh, you look so this, and you look so that. And then those same women are like, okay, these men are in my inbox, they're in my comments, but they're not asking me out on dates, they're not offering acts of service. And the reason is because all they've seen is enough to maybe want to kiss you or have sex with you, but nothing else. And so men aren't always able to articulate, or we don't always care enough to want to do something about it. But men can compartmentalize. I can find you totally attractive, tell you you're beautiful, your hair color is fire, your style is laid at this time, right? And your shoe and your purse game is off the chain. But if that's all that I got from it, that's where it's going to end. It's right there. I'm not going to be in your inbox asking you questions or asking you on a date or anything else. I'm not saying you're not worthy of it, but all I've seen is not enough to make me ask going out on a date.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And I think that's a great point. I think that's the thing. It's like, yeah, social media, it's still a little new. And I think we're so into it and everything, but there is a misconception. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning. Like a different kind of woman might misunderstand that. Like, I'm not getting as many likes as this person. Maybe I should do what she's doing. Maybe not knowing that girl ain't got no dates and no DMs, and the ones that are DMing, they only want to have sex. At least the two people that are hollering at you, like the message that you get. Like, it's making us compare and contrast, I think, on a very false it's giving a false premise of things. So that's why I say quality over quantity, because you're right, men do compartmentalize, and then we have to remember that men are very visual. So it's like, yeah, I mean, your ass cheeks were out, so like we all looking, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not blind, but it's like that does not mean I want to eat with you. It doesn't mean I want to spend money on you or invest my time, because yeah, what the man is actually looking for is something else. So it's kind of a relief to hear that, because I think it's important that we differentiate the two. Likes and make your money and get your compliments, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this girl has all the men. And especially the kind of people that come into your DMs sometimes, depending on your content, really isn't people that you would be trying to talk to or want to hang out with anyway.
I mean, they can have those 100,000 views and likes of the people who are viewing it and liking it. Yeah. So, and it, it can skew things and make a person who's not getting as much attention on social media feel lower. And then it can make a person who's getting a lot of attention on social media think there's more going on than it is. And I'm not, not trying to insult anybody, but
I'm being funny. And my shadow was like, yeah, girl, because don't you think that you gotta
sometimes
like chill, you know?
Sometimes it does not add up. And so no, but we really have to get out of this ego mode, or we're going to be spinning our wheels in the romantic and the dating space. That if we keep allowing ourselves to get sucked into the vacuum of only caring about the content portion of romance and dating, because that that portion is so superficial, that we will miss all of the real thing. And I love cake, but I don't like just icing.
Yeah, and I'm not eating it every day.
I'm not gonna eat a bowl full of icing.
No, not eating it every day, and eventually I'm gonna have to cut that out because it doesn't make me look good.
I want some icing on my cake, but that's how I want it, on my cake. So,
right.
Trust and believe. Do not get confused by the icing out here, getting all these views and likes and all this, the perception of attention. Yeah, most men need some cake.
Facts. And it's just a good point, and it's a good thing to remember, because I think mostly, I don't know all the way how men feel about it from the visual aspect, but for women, it's really important that they don't get caught up, because I liken it to entertainment, because yeah, we can monetize and we can do things, but it still reminds me of the entertainment industry, because you're also seeing these people on screen who don't really look like that, or who have been made, all of these false superficial things. And because of the likes and the attention, you think you have to go do that to be of value. And we still have this thing where we need to learn that our quality is always going to come from who we are, not what we look like.
Right.
So I'm just glad as a man he laid that out.
Yeah, I try to be intentional about not living off my handsomeness, right?
Me too, to be honest. Like I've never been that way, to be quite honest.
So it's like I hate photo shoots, and I hate taking selfies, and I really, I don't like fake smiling for pictures much either. And so I don't post a ton of pictures, and the reason why is because I don't want somebody who's hyper focused on my beard and how clear my skin is, or whatever else is going on, because that is far from the totality of who I am, and that is not all that they will be signing up for. So I don't want to delude anybody either. And so I think one of people's greatest desires is to really be liked and loved and cherished for who they really are, all of you, right? And so I try to provide the opportunity for that to even happen, because sometimes we try to, only let people see us when we totally put together, and only let people see the highlight reel. And again, that's not reality. You will stress yourself out trying to hide the bloopers, right? And then when the person finally comes across the bloopers, it won't be that because they're looking for perfection, but it'll be because you hid the bloopers for so long that they're in shock and they don't know what they signed up. They aren't sure if you're the person that they thought you were, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, we have to, there's a lot of potency to what that gentleman said. And I find that when I'm not in that mind frame, I'm kind of in survival mode and being childish. Like, there have been times through the years where it's like I will get frustrated after a while, and I'll find myself getting sucked into, playing the game and wake up like, what are you doing? And this is not, the direction you're trying to go. And so we have to, even the most intelligent person, even the most self-aware person has to really pay attention. I heard a billionaire say, no days unalert, right? And what he meant by that is don't get into habits and routines so much that you stop paying attention, right? You can do your job with your eyes closed. You can go to, the shortcut to work. You can get there with your eyes closed. And so now you're going through life kind of not paying attention, right?
You're not present. Yeah.
Everything is on automatic pilot. And so, we have to stay present.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And I agree. And I'm just like you, like, I try to be mindful of that too. Don't get me wrong. These filters, I'd be like, well, thank goodness. Cause I just woke up and I can't pull it together right now, but this filter got me looking like somebody, but for me too, it's the same thing. I don't want to be seen or just presented as somebody that looks good. Like, I want you to hear me. Let it be both, because that's what you're going to get in front of the camera, behind the scenes. Let's do the bloopers. Let's do all that. Like I did, I told you, I started off, this was a crazy day. Like, I'm not going to come on here and act like, things don't get wonky. They do,
Right.
So sometimes I look at, some of these people and I'm just like, dang, all your things have a filter. Like, I don't know what your face looks like.
Right.
Your whole face is blurred out, girl.
Right.
The whole thing is blurred out. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to live like that. It's one thing to, because that's not, who I am. So, I don't know. That's the thing. Hey, Tawny, what's going on? SJ. Let's see. What does Tawny say in the chat? The sassy method has changed my life, and I will post about it for sure. As a woman, I would like to indulge in all the aesthetically pleasing services available. They make me feel great. Yeah, me and her, we be going at it. I'd be like, girl, we're so different, but we're related. And I'm like, nothing, how do I say? Like, oh wait, here, let me get her. I don't know. I never been big on the looks thing. Maybe I just feel comfortable and confident in my skin. And I think it started really early when I was in middle school, and I didn't look like a lot of the girls. I'm 5'10". So I was already the tallest, the skinniest. I wore glasses. I had braids like Brandy. I lived in Japan. I was flat-chested. I was taller than the boys. Like, I wasn't the little Filipino girl who developed early and had curly hair. I wasn't the mixed chick. I'm a military brat. So there was always this wide variety of, things. And I was just like, all right, God, don't make mistakes. You ready, girl? Let's go out into this world and just be yourself, because I can't keep up. It can't be the hair, the skin, the body, I can't keep up. I had to come. I could feel myself at that time getting overwhelmed and being like, well, what's and how, you're in middle school. You're kind of starting to, oh my God, that boy is cute. I like this girl. These things are coming up. And I was already overwhelmed then. And I was like, no, we're just gonna have to rock like this. Because if they don't like this is who I am when I wake up. This is who I can't, so I don't mind things because I'm big on the health stuff. I take care of my skin. I work out, I do the things, but I'm not doing a filter in every video. I'm damn sure ain't getting no BBL. Lips, Botox. No, we're not doing, I can't.
Yeah.
I just,
Men are, we like beauty for sure. So there is no denying that. That is the truth. But it's not an absolute truth, right? Because every man who's probably got caught cheating, at least half of those times, the woman felt like he was cheating with a woman who wasn't as attractive as her, right? And then two, you can
keep it real.
Yeah, so the comedian Chris Rock said 100 comedy shows ago, not anything recent, but he said if the world wardrobe for women became snowsuits, right, men would still get horny, and we would still want y'all, and we would still be trying to get into those or get y'all out of those snowsuits. And so I'm not saying women shouldn't care how they look or anything like that, but at the same time, trust and believe that that isn't everything. And so you can't live if that's all you get to live off of. And I see women who do that, and they're like, I'm not getting the results I want. And yeah,
because that's not where they come from. At the end of the day, it's not where they come from, and it's not like we do it all for men. But at the same time, when you look at the entertainment industry, when you look at the quantity of what looks hot and what the algorithm is pushing and what is the most popular, people don't realize it's still influencing your decisions about yourself. It's still, if you're not, careful, it still launches a certain level of comparison mode. And again, with the likes and what it looks like and the oohs and ahs and hearty eyes and all this, if you're not careful, it translates as this is beauty, this is the standard, this is what this, okay, so this, I want to do that then. So I can get and have that. And I'm a little more old school, I'm thinking nah, because we didn't even have that. If you think about dating in the 90s, I was still a little young. It was high school, but we were wearing baggy jeans, t-shirts, hoops, and some gloss. And it was popping. There was no, it wasn't all that. And we had a good time.
Yeah, we really have to be able to differentiate between the marketing and branding and the truth, because what's happening now is you're going to have a lot of late bloomers and late comers running to get BBLs and surgery still, while the people who started the surgery trends are all getting reductions and getting the surgeries reversed, right? And so
yeah,
it's again, sometimes things look better in our imagination, in our minds, or through the screen, right, than it actually is in reality and in real life. And so I've had experiences where a woman lost an implant.
I have friends.
A woman's butt deflated.
This is a real possibility. I have two people that I know that one of the implants didn't take, and now unfortunately somebody who just looked great from the gate now has to deal with, you got one and not the other. And so now if you thought you were subconscious before, now you got this whole other thing, and it's for what? What's the real reason and the root of that? You were fine. I can see people getting corrective surgery and things when you have kids and all this and that, but just to be keeping up with the Kardashians, so to speak, we gotta be mindful. And at the end of the day, as glamorous as it may look and whatever you're doing it for, it definitely ain't going to be the indicator of whether you get a man or not.
Yeah, some stuff is just a trend. So it's a trend to be this way for a while, for a year or two, or 5 years or 10 years, and then the trend changes, and now it seems like everybody wants the exact opposite. So there was a time when it was long hair, and then some really attractive women stepped forward and started wearing short hair. Then a lot of women start cutting their hair, then a lot of women start growing it back or going natural, so definitely we have to know what we want and what we need and what is truly attractive to us, as opposed to what's trending right now and what may look good on paper or on social media. No pun intended.
Right, that part. So quality, y'all. Quality over quantity. 200 people could look the very same, but you are different because of who you are if you dare to be that. But if you're gonna, go with the quantity herd type of mentality, just to think you're gonna yield whatever you think they're getting, it takes away from the quality. I call it often like putting a dress on a pig. It's still a pig. It's a pretty pig, but it's still a pig. Like, so you want to be just mindful. So I just like as a man that he kind of spoke up and is like, yeah, I need quality. I still need somebody to talk to. I still need, like, these other character traits have to be developed in order to get through life. Like, it is so much more than double tap. Okay.
Absolutely. You can only do so much with beauty. A man, even the most in shape, highest sexual libido man only has so much stamina. So now what y'all gonna do with the rest of y'all's lives? Right?
And beauty fades. Well, I feel like I'm gonna be 80 years old. Like, you should have seen me back in the day and still feel fly. But
evolves.
yeah,
Some men don't feel that way. Some men don't feel that way, so they will pursue a younger woman or a woman who has had some surgery or things of that nature because it doesn't evolve for them. But for a lot of men, me even at a younger age, I was attracted to older women, and so yeah, you know, it evolves, and so you know, I don't see stretch marks and feel grossed out in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't see bodies that don't look like they've had a BBL and wish that they did. You know, I've never, the women I find attractive, I just find them attractive. I've never been like, she is so fine, I wish her butt was bigger. Never have been like, ooh, she's so pretty, but man, those breasts are just too small. So what?
Yeah. Right.
I'm attracted to what I am attracted to, and it's different all the time. And so yeah, it's, you know, there's this myth that if this is this and that is that, then that's gonna make all these things magically go a certain way, and it just is not like that. Not only for the woman, but even for the guy who goes after that. If you've never had that, you're gonna go after it, you're gonna spend money and do this and do that, and you're gonna get it. You can be like, this is not magical.
That part.
This is just curvy. This is not, there's nothing super valuable about this.
Yeah, I think about that with dating because, you know, I know guys spin the block for a lot of different reasons, but I think there's also illusion of quantity because I'm like, you think you could just hop online and get any girl that, this one could be setting you up. This one just wants you for your money. This one don't even look like that. This one might not have all the parts you think she has. Like, there's just so many things, and people are under the illusion of we got options. And you do to an extent, but what is it that you're really looking for? Then you leave this girl or leave that person or move on from this or that situation thinking you could just get another one. And you're so unfulfilled because it never, the quality still matters. It was never giving. Like, it's an illusion. It's the illusion that it was created to be. It's serving that.
Right. There are a lot of options, but they aren't opportunities. Right.
So are they really options? Like,
right.
If there's 10 jobs available and I'm looking for a social media job and it's 10 lawyer jobs and one social media job, it ain't options. I got one thing that matches. Like, I don't care how long the list is.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, that they might have this car in a lot of colors, but if you only like two of them, then all they got, it's only two opportunities at this dealership, right? So, you know, same thing, houses, cars, there's inventory all over the place, right? But how many of them do you want to live in, right? So it's never a situation where the person's at the realtor like, I love all 20 of the houses you see. I just can't decide which one is for me, right? You like, hate most of them. A couple of them is okay. And right. Finally, you found one that you love or even that you can live with, right?
Either that or can I live in this one for 2 months and then go to that one? Like, you're going to be putting down a lot of down payments. Yeah. It don't work like that.
Yeah. If you gave me $1 million right now and sent me to Macy's to try to spend the whole $1 million, I don't think that they have $1 million worth of stuff that I want. I'm going to struggle to spend the whole $1 million because so.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think even the most fashion conscious, fashion forward, huge closet having person may struggle to spend $1 million in Macy's in one day. It's like you just be buying, you know, some stuff you just be buying it.
Yeah, trying to return it because you was good with the wardrobe you already had. Like, you was actually good. You didn't need that many black blazers. Now you got a black tan, and what is that? What are those? No, I love it. But this was a good conversation. It's nice just to kind of dive into it a little bit. And I really find it social media based just because, when you're just living in a city and you don't have access to people all across the world, these are not really the kind of conversations. Y'all knew who the fine girls were or the girl that you liked in your neighborhood. But it's different now. So the illusion of options, the quality over quantity is something that we got to readjust to. Social media is still new. Instagram did not exist, but barely 10 years ago?
Right.
This is new. So
yeah, and it has evolved so much. It's nothing like what it was in 2009 when I got on. You couldn't put videos. There was no music. You couldn't edit. You could delete what you said and start over, or that. Like there were no emojis. All you could do was like. There was no love. There was no
right.
There was no mad. Right. There were no filters. Like there was no filters. Stories, there was no reels, none of that stuff. And so, yeah, I think maybe at that time you probably did have to have more of a personality, right? Because you couldn't do all of those.
You couldn't, the glitz and glam.
Right.
I cleaned up my page today, and I had a page before this one, but I think my earliest post on this page was 2014, and I was looking at the stuff, I was like, oh my, like the stuff that I was posting, it was just way different. It was like memes and pictures of my salad and like me coloring with colored pencils. I'm like, this is stupid. This isn't even a good reel. Like, but it was so innocent and simple. Like, it was just like, oh, this is the stuff that I like and I think is cute and I enjoy and whatever,
Right. I'm sure anybody who does that, if they go back and revamp, they're like, some of that on this day stuff pop up. You're like, on this day it got deleted.
Right.
What was I thinking, or what was I doing? And so I just had to revamp some things yesterday. I was like, man, what are you doing? It's 2023.
Right.
He's still using a bio from 2 years ago, and everything. Nothing is the same. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
And so we you really have to, again, no days on alert.
I love that because it's true.
You're still thinking you got a 36 waist, and it's a 32 or it's a 40.
And regardless of all that, are you kind? Are you loving? Do you want kids like this guy wants kids? Can you back up his purpose? Like you said, can he what are we really, doing and talking about here?
Yeah. Do we compliment one another? If I bring something to you, are you going to advise me to do, are you going to encourage me to do dumb stuff? Yeah, baby, go shoot him.
Yeah. Right. Show
right?
who you are. They know better.
Go keep it real with your boss.
Right.
Go keep it real with that bank.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Not that extreme, but there's a lot of things going on. I can remember hanging out with a young lady some years ago, and she started telling me about how she could help me spend my money, right? She was like, we can start just buying all purple label Ralph Lauren, and she was like, I'm really good at shopping, and I can da-da-da-da. And it was so weird. We went out for breakfast. Later that night, I saw her at an event, and her car got booted, and she was out there with a hat trying to take up a collection. Get that boot off her car. And I'm not judging her. It doesn't make her a bad person. Doesn't make her a horrible person. But if I look to the future and try to take an educated guess on what her influence might be on my financial situation, if I decided to partner with her.
In reality.
Yeah, probably moving in not the direction that I would like for things to be moving in. And so, when you're partnering with somebody, they have influence with you, right? And so you have to, before they get the influence, you have to pay attention to what type of influences they're dishing out and see if those things are good for you. Because once you're in it, I've seen millionaires, men and women, right, let the opposite sex mess their money up before, and because of who their partner was. And so, we love to tell ourselves that we're gonna be good no matter what. But once you start really mixing your life with somebody and mixing your soul with somebody, it's bound to happen one way or the other. Either you're gonna be influencing them, or they're gonna be influencing you, or a little bit of this and that, depending on what the area or the dynamic is.
Right. And SJ is right. Red flag. Okay. Tony says very helpful. Still working on what I would do with that $1 million though.
Right. Now there's some other stores you could go to and spend $1 million. That's why I put Macy's out there.
Right.
You know, it's got some stuff that costs some money, but probably not enough to spend $1 million.
$1 million, that's pushing it. Let's see. Like, are we talking about perfume and shoe? Can we how do we broaden that?
Hey, anything they got in Macy's, right? But I just don't think it's gonna add up to
I don't think so.
$1 million. You know, they might have $5,000-$10,000 purses, right? You buy 5 of them, that's $50,000. Now what? Right? It's like you still got $950,000 left to spend. Okay, they got 5 fur coats for $10,000. You bought the 5 fur coats. Okay, you spend $100. You 10% in there. Now what? All right, they got some La Perla underwear sets for $300. Okay, you bought 50 of those, right? You know what I mean? Still only another 50,000. You know,
the math just ain't mathing.
Just ain't mathing. And so yeah, all those options sometimes
ain't really options. Let's see what SJ says about that. Let's see. Options that aren't opportunities result in modifications that create a new reality. Options that aren't opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're distractions.
The modifications.
Distractions will create a new reality, all right.
Yeah, and it's like the energy that we could be using to build, now I'm using to force compatibility or try to make a square fit into a round peg or whatever they say, you know? So it's like, you know, modification, it does create a new reality. You either end up somewhere too long or...
I mean, either you're moving towards where you want to go or you're moving away towards where you want to go. There's no
gray
in between. If you're being still, then the world is rotating you back, right? So you have to not only be moving, but you have to be moving up fast enough to beat the social inflation, not the financial inflation, but what I would call the social inflation of life. You know, if you're still in the same place, you're not just a year behind. You know, you might be light years
right
behind. And so, yeah, we don't realize, you know, especially as this guy, because it's like, okay, I have access to beautiful women. Why shouldn't I take advantage of that, at least here and there?
Right.
Right. But if it's not moving me towards where I want to go, then it's moving me in the opposite direction, which means the things that my heart truly desires is going to take longer.
Yes.
For me to be able to make that happen. And why am I delaying what I want for myself, what I claim that I want for myself? And so, Leah, let's get out of our own way, people.
Yeah, like quick, fast, and in a hurry, because, I mean, we don't live forever. Jamie, being comfortable in your own skin is an inspiration. Thank you for opening my eyes to the dark side of plastic surgery. Yeah, still learning and growing. I'll be sending her videos. I'll be like, look at this girl. You done been through all this. You trying to die? Not everybody makes it through, and it's sad. You see these beautiful women, and they, not all of them, but some like literally die because they went so. It's just for your butt. Like sometimes I just want people like, you do know this is just what you poop out of, right? Like I get shape, but like let's really get down to what are we doing? Priorities, people. Reconstructive, I understand. I know there are some really serious things that happen, and I get that. But just to be out here for what? I just need to know. You can give me a good reason.
Isn't about judgment. We're not saying don't ever have fun with the camera. We're not saying don't ever show how sexy your walk is. We're saying don't be hyper focused and believe that this is, you know, all that there is to life and all that there is to attracting the opposite sex and all that there is to creating the romantic situation that you desire for yourself. That's all we're saying. It's like have fun, but you know, do some other things too.
Boom. I mean, done and done. That kind of just wrapped it up. I love it. So you know how we do. Tell the people who you are and where they can find you and get into your services.
Absolutely. My name is Nyatu Marvel. I am Mr. Hitch himself. You can find me next Friday at the UIC Forum at the She Owns It, She Biz Women's Empowerment Conference. Go to the She Owns It, She Biz website. Get yourself some tickets. I am so excited about this event because there are so many strong, powerful Black women in Chicago doing amazing things. And not only is this conference highlighting and showcasing that, but it's giving people access to those people so you can find out how they did it, who they did it with, some of the things they overcame, some of the resources and things that they were able to access to make those things happen. And so I'm super excited about that. Online, you can find me at Yatu Marvelous Hitch on Instagram. If you're watching this, just my plain government name. On Facebook, Yatu Marvel. I'm the only one. It's easy, super easy to find. And my website is thehitchagency.com. I offer dating and relationship consulting, as well as premarital and marriage counseling for couples. And I also have an assessment tool to help people see how compatible they are, that a lot of times it takes people years to really deep dive and find out some things. And this assessment is set up so that each person actually answers the questions almost anonymously, right? And so you don't know what your partner answered. They don't know what you answered, but what happens is it generates a report, and it's just telling what the differences are. And so showing the areas where the relationship is strong, showing the areas where the relationship is weak, so that we can work on that. And if it's meant to be for you guys to go your separate ways, you can figure that out sooner than later as well. And so that is my spiel. Over to Jamie and Sassy.
Sassy gang. Okay, first of all, I love that compatibility tool because I probably could have used that like 5 times in the past. Like,
right?
So I'm gonna have to hit you up on that for the next time because
Absolutely.
I'm finding out too late.
Absolutely.
I'm letting chemistry take me off on the wings of its wings. Then I'm like, oh, we don't believe in the same thing. This isn't gonna work. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. I am Jamie Alexander. Yes, please click the link in my bio on I always mess this up. Jamie Alexander, this is how you spell it, in Instagram, and click Get Sassy. If you want to have a free 20-minute call with me, I have my Getting to the Root coaching program. And so I'm really excited to report I got my first paid client last week.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's amazing because I've been testing out my work with people that I know to reach out to and cultivating my program, making sure it works. And I've been doing the thing, and it was so powerful. She said, we only spent an hour and 5 minutes together, and she was like blown away. She's like, I've gotten more out of this than 4 months of the talk therapy I've been doing, this and that. And it just, not only did it bless her, but it blessed me. And I'm just really excited about using my wisdom to serve. And if I can do what I did with her and continue to duplicate that, like, we about to raise the frequency of the whole planet. Okay.
Absolutely. I'm sure that was the first of thousands.
Yes.
Paying clients that are making their way towards you. And I'm excited for her as your client. I'm excited for you. And yeah, just get ready for that to keep rolling in.
Yes, it was so good. Thank you, SJ. Go me. Go me. I mean, it was that good. I was beaming for like 2 days. I'm like, wow. Because sometimes you have something, but it's just you in the house by yourself, and you're like, I think this is good. It sounds good to me. And then you put it out there, and it's like, oh my God, this is like life-changing. I'm going to give it that. It's life-changing. So, if you're interested or just wanted to have a 20-minute conversation, go to my link in bio at Instagram and click Get Sassy. Let's chat, see if it will work for you. But it's life-changing. And when you're done, you don't need to come back. That's one of my things. Like, we're getting to the root. This is not something where I'm going to be trying to bait you for the rest of your life. Like, we're going to get in, get out, and get on with our lives.
I love it. I love it.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining the conversation. And you know what it do. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and we'll see you in the next video.
Have a great night. Good night, everybody.
Peace.